Welcome to Jpod. Today we have Aman Issar with us. He's an architect and he's an entrepreneur. And hi, Aman.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Actually, thank you for saying yes and coming. You're actually our first guest. So, Aman is an architect. He has his own studio called Unbox Design. And first of all, it's doing amazing. We love your work.
Really, thank
Thought
you.
it'll be great to have you first-hand experience. We wanted to know exactly everything from how you started, how it is being in a studio, and what it feels like to be an entrepreneur at this age. What's your age?
I have a few gray hair. That's
Okay, we will not disclose it as we are always young. You look as young. Okay, cool. So the first question, of course, is that your inspiration. What actually got you interested in architecture? How did you start? What was the first initial inception thought? Was it like parents putting in some ideas, or you saw something? What was the first initial baby Aman? What did baby Aman think of it?
you know what? Like I've really thought about it, and looking back, I possibly didn't even know there's a field called architecture. I was just graduated from 10th, and people like अच्छे marks आ गए. Now take science, and I took science, and then I was like perishing all throughout those 2 years, hating it. Possibly wanted to switch to commerce at some point of time. Parents didn't allow, like, you spent 2 years already, so might as well finish it off now. And I remember I was walking down from my tree boards, walking down the stairs and just chatting with one of my friends about how the exam went and like what are you possibly going to do in your future. And that guy mentioned he's going to do architecture. Like, ये क्या चीज़ है?
Pure influence.
And I was like, what is this? And I guess like, तुझे नहीं पता architect क्या होता है? Like, नहीं, engineer ही पता है हमें तो सब कुछ. And then I started searching about it. I mean, I've always kind of been interested into fine arts. At some point of time, I wanted to join a fine arts college. Got into science. Huge difference. So, yeah, like once I knew there's this field where I can possibly draw.
Draft now that we're saying. Huh?
So I started looking up on it, possibly filled all the entrance exams, got through some of the good colleges, finally got admission into one of the colleges, and even then it was sort of like a backup plan for me that even if I don't like this, I'll switch to a fine arts college. Like I possibly won't continue this for long. But first year happened and this was it, yeah. Like this is what I always possibly had wanted to do for all this while.
And you had no idea about it. Like it was just happening at the background, just like churning and like things are happening.
Yeah, I mean, see, my dad's a civil engineer. So
You have it in your blood.
I never really realized it because like I remember like my mom's also been working all the time. So my dad used to take me to sites and I used to spend my days over there like lanking around, like looking. I remember we used to go to JNU and I used to like just like roam around those forests, like looking at peacocks and stuff. And there used to be like this red brick building being built at the back, and my dad used to be supervising all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean that's like a vivid memory in my mind at the back of my head, but never really realized that possibly I'll be doing something like this in my life. So yeah, now I look back at it and it kind of all worked out in a way that now I'm here with you.
That is so interesting, right? Like how our parents like unknowingly influence us. We don't even understand the power of that childhood memories that we have, and it sort of builds us into individuals who sort of are taking a piece of our parents and their like understanding and taking it on
Yeah,
without realizing. It's not
Definitely.
like something you purposely thought of and it just happened like that.
definitely. I completely agree to that. Yeah.
Very interesting. Because for me, it happened very similarly. One of my friends told me she wanted to do fashion, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" I was in school at that time and I had no idea what for fashion. Okay, and she's like, "You actually there's a separate thing to design clothes." So I got really interested. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna design clothes." So I started like making sketches in back of my diaries and all, and I realized that's not interesting to me. Like clothes and all is not something I'm interested, because I was getting influenced with my friend because she used to make these sketches. And then I realized I am actually more interested in making products. So then I started designing furniture and small products. I used to start like sketching those, and I was really interested in that. And then I realized, okay, I need to figure out something of this nature. I have no idea how to do it, what kind of courses are out there. And in India, especially, I see for middle class schools. I don't know about higher class or lower class, but lower class and middle class schools, they don't have a very intact education in terms of how you can actually take careers. Like career education is not so powerful, or they don't have so many different sectors that they teach you about. I remember I they had a counselor that they just appointed, I think, when we were in 11th, 12th. So luckily, I had this person to go and ask, and I could say that, okay, I'm thinking of fashion, but I also like products, and I don't know what to do. And then one of my friends said, "Oh, you can do NIFT." I was like, "Oh, NIFT is interesting," and suddenly I got obsessed with NIFT. I had need to do NIFT, like that's all I need to do. I had no idea what NIFT entailed. They just said it's a good college for fashion and then products, and I went into it. So I think that is interesting how everybody's story sort of, there's some peer pressure, some peer influence, and then there's some your influence into it.
Yeah, but what I gather from it is that if you like really put your head into it at some point of time, even if you're lost, you can possibly make it through.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Sample A, guys.
And sample B, guys. Okay. So the second question comes. So what was the journey of starting your own studio? So I get it, architecture is something you went into. And then you started working, and we both actually worked in Studio Lotus. I think we overlapped for a bit.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we
I
overlapped
think,
for maybe a month or so.
yeah, yeah.
I had left by then, and you stayed. So, how did you actually think of starting your own studio? And like, was it an idea that came around when you were working there, or was it always there that you had to do something of yourself?
Well, I mean, like I joined college and I was really into this field. I possibly wanted to work for a lot of famous architects at that point of time. Then did my internship in Goa, came back over here, joined Lotus. So moved from a really like small firm doing only residential projects in Goa to Lotus, which was sort of like a mid-sized firm at that point of time. Now it's grown huge, but I saw that transition happening at that point of time. But at some point of time while I was there, I kind of thought that I'm more or less getting closed inside a box, doing the same stuff over and over again. Um, at some point, I thought I need to do more. I possibly need to engage into a lot of different things apart from just doing the same thing again. And at that point, I thought of taking a sabbatical. Like starting my own firm was never really a thought at that point of time. It was more of I want to do more. I just don't want to restrict myself to this much. So that's how possibly I'll take a break and figure stuff out for myself. And that's how I took a sabbatical at that point. Fortunately, someone referred me to someone, and I got my first project. So I was like, yeah, I'm on a break. Might as well design a building. so, so that's how my first project happened. And with my first project, midway came my second project. Then my mentor approached me to actually do a project with him as well because he couldn't do it himself. So happened my third project, and slowly by chance it actually developed into something that I never imagined it to be. Like that's not how I started it. And with time we've more or less developed it into a design and build practice wherein we of course do design, but we like to execute it ourselves as well. So even if we are not completely into the build aspect, we can manage it for our clients. We can of course design it, but yes, our focus is to actually do an end-to-end solution for our clients if they approach us. So never really thought of it like this. I mean, looking back, there was some idea that maybe one day I'll start a practice of my own, but never planned for it. Never planned for it. It just happened, like through happenstance completely. But yeah, done a good number of projects, worked on a good number of projects, completed quite a few of them,
Yeah, I've
and
seen.
looking forward to actually doing a lot more interesting projects and collaborations, guys.
I'm sure. I am sure you will do like amazing, amazing work so far. I've seen your work and I really like it. I think it's
Thank you, Nimisha. You're too kind.
in architecture, you're definitely like winning right now.
Really? Thank you.
Okay, so I know your design style, but I don't think people understand so well small things. So if you had to explain it to people, how would you explain your design style? How would you develop and how did you develop that design style?
See, I would say I don't really have a design style. Like, I personally would not restrict myself to just one style of work. Of course, there are a lot of influences through text and through peers and through a lot of greats that we've seen who influence our ideologies and approach to design. But yes, we are not restricted to one design style completely. We try and create something new with each project. Each project is different, each client is different. We try and stick by the ideology of each site has to have a specific design to it. It needs to be contextual. It needs to respond to the clients, their requirements, their budgets, their tastes and preferences. And there is some sort of a value addition that we can bring on board as a designer through our approach and ideologies. Possibly we can add so much to build a product for them in the end. So yeah, we're not really restricted to one design style at all.
Would you say for interior designers and architects, clients play a very important role in like guiding what style we're going to take forward? Or vice versa, that they come to you for a specific idea that they've seen outside. Like they've seen that you have done this kind of work and they liked it and they want you to sort of repeat that kind of work.
That happens a lot.
Right?
That happens
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. And I mean, in the end, I feel more or less boils down on the designer and their approach to it. I mean, if they want to repeat what they've done and the client is asking for it, they're happy doing it. That's good for both of them.
Client is God.
Client is God. But yeah, like possibly we do not really want to engage into stuff like that. Like if we've done something, we want to do something more.
Push
We want to
forward for
push
something
forward.
new, yeah.
We want to create something entirely new for our client. Possibly don't want to replicate stuff that we have seen or we would like, especially in this age of Pinterest, like clients would come up to you with the mood boards ready and you just possibly have to draft it out for them. So yeah, there are clients like that.
A lot of people, I think, struggle with the idea of giving control out. People are a little bit more like controlling when it comes to you're spending a massive amount of money, right? With that comes a sense of control into that situation that you want. And because you don't understand anything else, design and art and look of something aesthetically is only thing that they can control till a certain point. So I see that how clients are always trying to push for different designs, even when the execution is happening.
I feel that it's also nice that your clients engage so much in the design process. So of course they get their ideas on board and you can possibly add some value to it. Also, I feel why it happens is because we are young designers. So that trust is built over time and possibly the amount of gray hair that you have.
Really? You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
I think, but I have seen that even in big firms, I think they have the same kind of issue where clients sort of are sort of involved in every single decision making and process.
See, the thing is, it's something that in the end, the client needs to inhabit. It's something that needs to suit their tastes and preferences. Of course, I feel we are a medium of actually bringing that out into reality. And as I said, if given the freedom, it can come out to be something more unique than possibly what you've seen somewhere else. So, yes, it's a very hand-in-hand situation wherein, of course, the client's requirements and expectations need to be met, but the designer's outlook and ideas towards it also need to be respected. I mean, that's what you've hired the designer for.
That's the fight. I think that's the constant struggle between clients and designers, that we push for ideas and they push back with their ideas, and we come to a one basic understanding that okay, we'll compromise a bit, you compromise a bit.
I feel
Na
that's,
aapki na meri is pe
I think
repair.
that's the fun part of it. One day when nobody is challenging me and building whatever I want to build, possibly would be a very boring day for me. Like, if there's no challenge to it, then there's no point to
Oh,
it.
I would love it.
Yeah.
It's my dream to have a client who tells me, you do you. You do whatever you want. I will take it. And I'm like, yes, I want to do that. I want to show them what I can do without them actually telling me. If you're actually open to giving a space and just like designing it the way I want it, I'm 100% sure they will like it in the end. It's just they don't have the trust beforehand that this will be good.
No, sure, I get that. But I've really thought about it, and I'd be the most nervous if I have to design my own house.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
I have like so many ideas for my house. Of course, I will be confused.
Like, I found a designer for my house.
So being an entrepreneur and having your own studio, what is the downside of it?
I think this field takes a lot from you. Telling my team कि यार मुझे कल एक सपना आया कि ये staircase ठीक नहीं लगेगा.
You know, my biggest fear actually is what if I become boring?